Oh, hey, there you guys are. Good morning, good morning. Sorry for the delay. I was having some technical difficulties on my end here. I was trying to figure out I was trying to figure out the correct resolution, and everything I changed to tells me it's wrong. So, hey, if you jump in, uh, let me know you're here. Yeah. Ah, Reuben's here. Hey, Reuben, good morning. How you doing, buddy? Hope everything's well. Hey, Reuben, one of the things I've been doing to try to help, I don't know, make this new normal more tolerable and enjoyable is every morning when I come up here, because I have a two-story house, and so this is upstairs for me. And every time I come upstairs in the morning, I put a record on. Hey, Davy boy, how's things? I have a record player. I always like music. I know you like music, but for some reason, live music better. And for some reason, to me, music that's analog is better too. So, like when you stream something, or if it's a CD player or something like that, it's not analog. It's analog. It's digital. So every morning, you can see my record player behind me. Let's see. You can see it. Oh, right there, over my left shoulder. It's right. Everything's backwards. Right there. Right there. That's my record. That's my record player. Let's see. Oh, right there. Anyway, so every morning I put a record on. So this is the one I put on this morning. And I don't know. It's just it's something new to do. It's something different to do. So it's kind of fun. So what we're going to be doing today in this video is we're going to be going over the practice problems from yesterday's work. I'll put it on the document camera so you guys can see where we had to change from standard form to vertex form by completing the square. So that was this stuff right here. Yeah, so that's what we're going to go over today in this video in just a few minutes. But want to allow a couple people to join. Yeah, that's right, Reuben. It's called Mad Season Above. It's a really amazing recording. It's from the mid '90s during all the grunge stuff, and I know a bunch of people got together from various bands and made that kind of, I don't know, they kind of had a glam band kind of thing, and I don't know, it's a pretty amazing album. They never made another. And now all of the people that were in the band, except for one, have died. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty mellow music. Really good recording. So, yeah, you might want to check it out. All right. So let's see. A couple of announcements I wanted to talk about today. So if you joined this late, hold on, let me look for them. If you joined this late, you probably need to watch from the beginning. So one of the things I was going to talk about was how you guys are going to get credit for the work you've done and for participation and all that kind of thing. The state governor, the state government, Department of Education, they haven't done a real good job with, or they haven't yet provided us with, excuse me, many guidelines on how grading is going to be done, how you guys are going to receive credit, and how to assign grades, all that kind of stuff. So it's all kind of up in the air. But one of the things I'm pretty sure is going to be happening is that a large portion of what you guys are going to get credit for is going to be participation. So I thought there's two ways we can do that really easily so that you guys can get credit and you don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff to show that you're participating. All you got to do is participate. Right? And an easy way for you to have record of it, me to have record of it, and we can, keep track of it, and we can justify when the time comes that, yes, you've been doing what you're supposed to do. So I thought there's a couple ways we can do that, right? Because we should be having 2 videos a day. One in the morning, which is where we review what we learned yesterday. And then in the afternoon, we have a video. It could be a live one. It might be one that's kind of pre-recorded. And in the second one, in that video, we will introduce new material that we will review again the next morning. So every day you'll have an assignment, and every day we're going to review assignments, right? What happened to the stream? It says rip stream. I don't know, Reuben, I'm here. Everything looks good on my end. Well, I'm going to keep going. I think you might have something. Well, actually, I know. So, Reuben, if the stream comes back, I know that YouTube's been having some trouble today. But, yeah. So, David has a question. He says, were you talking about a quiz in Google Classroom? Which quiz? Is it for the sophomores? So David, every day, I'm going to give you an assignment. It might be a quiz that you do on your own. It might be a homework assignment that you do on your own. And in the morning session, from 9 to 10 is the time I've set aside to help with the freshmen with whatever they're doing. And then from 10 to 11, is set aside for the sophomores. Either group can be welcomed in either session. But, yeah, so whatever the assignment or quiz is, I will put in Google Classroom so you can have access to it. I'll also put a link. So after this is done recording, YouTube saves it and you can watch it, later. So I will put a link in the description that you can click, that you can access notes and whatever the assignment or quiz was, okay? So you guys do that on your own, and then you come back the next morning and we kind of go over it. You grade your own, you ask questions, let me know how you did. So here's how I was thinking you could get credit, though. For the morning sessions, because they're live, if you're here during the live video, you just, in the chat room, in the live chat, you just say your name, hey, I'm here, and then you're good to go. Yeah. So yeah, right, David. You guys did not have a quiz yesterday. The sophomores did. You guys did have a homework assignment yesterday. It was this one. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of blurry, I know. But yeah, you guys had that one. And so we're going to grade that here today. I don't know where all the freshmen are. Must be sleeping in. That's kind of a sad story. So if you're not here, then what you have to do is you got to do a little extra work. So do I. If you're not here, you have to grade your own. Watching the video, you have to go over it and grade your own. And then you have to send me either a message in Google Classroom. It can be a private message. It can be on the message board. Or you have to send me an email letting me know how you did, what your score was, what questions you have, all that kind of stuff. So that'll do a couple things, right? Number one, it'll help you to be engaged with what we're learning. It'll help you to ask questions, and it'll help me to understand how well you're doing, because in this kind of format, it's really difficult to know how you guys are doing. And so, yeah, so we'll do it like that, right? The other thing it helps us, both you and me, with justifying whatever grade you're going to receive. So if you're participating and all we have is participation, then that's it. And then on top of that, you can end up learning from whatever it is that we're covering. So right now it's just a little bit of review for the freshman Cambridge students. For freshman Algebra 1 students, it's new material. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. Make sense? All right. Let's see. Oh, and then there was I thought every day we'd kind of add something interesting. So I think every day I'm going to show you whatever record I'm listening to and kind of talk to you about it. And maybe I'll even, here's what I'll do. In the chat right now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look up, see if I can find this record on YouTube. There's some of, hold on here. Don't play. Yeah. All right. So here's here, Reuben. I'll put a link right here down below so you can see what it is. It's just one of the songs, okay? Hey, Mariana, good morning. How's things? Did you make breakfast today? I had, for breakfast for me, we had bacon. Oh, yeah. And cantaloupe. I don't think it's there. I don't think what's there, Reuben? Oh, I just put it there right now. Well, yeah, let me know if it doesn't work. All right. So, Mariana, what'd you have for breakfast? Let me know. And so I thought I'd share with you guys what I'm doing every day a little bit, just to kind of have some normalcy, try to make this a little more interactive and fun. And then we're gonna have a show and tell session. So, one of the crappy things about being a high school teacher is you don't get to do show and tell. But I think in this setting we can. So here's what we got. See, I want you to tell me. So this is the thing I wanted to show you. I'm not going to tell you about it. I want you to guess. And, oh yeah, you're right, Reuben. It's not the full album. So this is the thing I wanted to show you, and I wanted you to guess what it was. And if you guess it right, the first person that guesses it right, and they can guess via email, they can put it in the chat below, right here. They can leave a comment when this is posted. However you want to let me know. You let me know what you think that is, and prize. Anyway. Hey, John, how you doing this morning? It's Reuben's birthday, too. Is that true, Reuben? Is it your birthday? Hold on. I think I know how to look that up. Let's see. Reuben, I may have found a link for the full album. Here you go. It is a bicycle statue, but it's more than that. All right, so hold on. I'm gonna look up and see if it really is your birthday, Reuben, and then we'll start grading this thing right here. Oh, maybe I don't know where my bookmark went. Oh well. Maybe I can't. There we go. I can do this. All right, so I'm gonna see it's your birthday, and see who else's birthday is coming up. Maybe if it'll load. Here we go. I know you guys can't see it. It's on my screen right in front of me. So nobody's birthday's coming up in first period. Second period. Let's take a look at those guys. Anybody's birthday coming up in second period? Nope. Let's see. Where's Martin? I saw Martin in here yesterday. Maybe he'll join us. Fifth period. No birthdays. Sixth period. No birthdays. All right, Reuben, you might be the only one. You might be the only one with a birthday coming up here pretty quick. Look at that. We've got two. So today's your 16th birthday, Reuben. Happy birthday. And on Monday, Omar's birthday. Dang, look at that. That's fancy. Well, that's very good. Happy birthday. All right. Happy birthday. Your birthday, Reuben, is a day after my anniversary. Yesterday was my anniversary. So, there we go. All right. Let's see here. Reuben online party. That's right. Digital gold. Oh, John has a really good idea. Dang, I don't have any goldfish here at my house. I should give you a digital goldfish. Hold on. I think I know how to handle this. Hold on. Let's see if I can figure this out. Oh, here we go. I got it. I got this. I got this. Maybe. Yep. Perfect. Reuben, here's your birthday present, brother. Yeah. Okay. So, let's get to this review, shall we? Let's get to this review right here. Let's see. How's our time? So, okay. Writing down. I gave everybody about 10 minutes or so to show up. And, yeah. Reuben gets a roll of toilet paper. Oh, for his birthday. I don't know. That would be great. All right, let's get to this review. So, here is the worksheet we had right here, right? And I need to sharpen my pencil. But it says, while I sharpen my pencil, we can go ahead and get this thing started. It says, change the following to Vertex Form by completing the square. Oh, here, let me show you my pencil sharpener before we get too far ahead. I got an old school pencil sharpener. They just work better. The only problem is I don't have it bolted to anything, so I kind of have to hold it in one hand and turn the knob with the other. But it works really well, see? All right, see? Look at that. Man, here we go. Let's see if it'll focus. Not really. Oh, well. All right, so let's get to it here. Check this out. Here is our, here's our worksheet. This was for the freshmen, this was their homework from yesterday. It says change the following from Vertex Form, or into Vertex Form, sorry, by completing the square. So we have to change this into Vertex Form. Vertex Form, just in case you forgot, which I'm sure you didn't, is this. And these are all pretty easy because A equals 1. I did get quite a few emails asking me about this last one. And that last one's really tricky. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we have to rewrite the whole thing, and we have to move C over and leave some space. Because what we're doing when we're completing the square, what we're doing is we're making this part a perfect square by adding a C that'll make this part right here a perfect square. Do you see? And perfect squares are like this. That's a perfect square right there. Right? And then we're going to have plus some other number. That's what we're doing, right? So for perfect squares, for quadratics or perfect squares, half of b squared is going to equal c. And so what we do is we take half of this, and I should have written that a little bit bigger, half of that, and I square it. So that says plus negative 2 squared, and I squared it. But now I've changed the value of the entire thing, so I added it here, so I'm going to subtract it over here, right? Well, here, let me go ahead and let's write this out, this first one, just step by step without doing too many things at once. So here we added negative 2 squared, and here we're subtracting negative 2 squared. Now the thing that's a little different about this is usually we're going to go ahead and square this instead of writing it out like that. So usually you'd write just 4, right? You'd write minus 4. And here you don't, because your next step for this part is you're going to factor it in every single time. That number right there goes right here with its sign. So that's factored, because if you multiply this together, you get x squared minus 4x plus 4. Now over here we have plus 6 minus 4, and this is going to be negative. This number over here will always be negative, because when you square this, it doesn't matter what it is, it's going to be positive, but we're subtracting it, so it's always going to be negative. So it's 6 minus 4. Not very good at math, but I think that's 2. Martin is here. Hey Martin, how you doing, buddy? You know, when I'm, so check this out. I know I showed some of you guys this a minute ago. My desk here at my house, it's kind of like an L shape, right? And here, I'll try to draw a diagram. And I have two monitors. Here, I'm drawing a diagram so I can show you. A monitor there, a monitor here. Dot camera's to my left, and the webcam is right here. So check this out. Oh man, here, I'll put on a document camera since we have one. So this is why it looks kind of weird sometimes. So when my chair's right here, right here. So here's my chair. So normally I face just this direction, right in the middle. I can see both monitors. So I kind of have to turn to my right, so I'm facing the webcam, and then way over here on my left is the document camera. So the problem with that is it's this monitor right here where the comments come in. So it's like way far away from where I'm looking most of the time. That's why it takes me a while to see sometimes when you guys say stuff. So yeah, Deanna, join us, please. No problem. It's quite all right. I'm glad you're here. Let's see who else is here. We got Angela's here. Angela. Hi, Angela. How are you? Tardy as usual, huh, Angela? So we have Angela. We have Deanna. I'm glad you guys are all here. If you're just joining us, it's quite all right. I kind of talked about some announcements and some, we call them housekeeping issues, before we started jumping into the review. So we just did the first question right here. So if you just barely showed up, you can go ahead and take a look and see if you got that right. If you did get it right, hey, good to go. If you didn't, and you have a question, just leave it in the chat window, and I'll take a look. Angela, hey, Omar, your birthday's on Monday. Right, Omar? I see you just jumped in. Angela was having breakfast. What breakfast were you having, Angela? Okay, so this second one is almost the same as the first. The only difference is the sign is positive. So check this out. Same thing, right? F of x equals, right? X squared plus 4x. So same thing, you just rewrite it and leave space, right? That's your first step. Then you take half of this number. Half of 4 is 2, and you square it, and you add it, and you subtract it also. But here you don't square, here you do. And the reason why is we're going to combine like terms here. That makes 2. And we're going to factor this part right here. See, this is really x squared plus 4x plus 4. And that's what x plus 2 squared equals. So, there we go. How many of you guys got 2 for 2? All right. Martin, you got questions on this? It says, I see. Does that mean you see how to do it? You're doing good? Let's see. Omar's birthday. Omar, is it going to be your 16th birthday on Monday? Today is Reuben's 16th birthday. Ah, yeah. So, Deanna, let me know how you're doing with these questions right here. All right. I know this isn't as good as classroom, face to face, or like before school when you could sit down and we could go over questions together, but we'll make the most of it. Now this one I had a lot of questions about this one right here. Some people emailed me. In a way, it's almost already in vertex form. But here's the thing. Let's say you're confused. Remember, what you're doing is you're going to take half of b and square it and add it. Oh, you want half of b squared to equal c. Right? So what you're doing is you're taking half of b and you're squaring it, and you're adding it, and you're subtracting it. Right? That's what we're doing right here. And so for this one, if you see b is 0, right? And so you have to take half of 0. Well, half of 0 is just 0, and you square it. Well, 0 squared is 0. So what we're doing is like this right here. We're going to take half of b, and we're going to square it, and we're going to add it, and we're going to subtract it. And then you factor this. So here's actually what you could say it was. You could say it's that. But x plus 0 is just 0. So, I don't know. I would accept, like if you did this or if you did this, I would say both of those are okay. And that's a little tricky. Yeah. Okay. So, Deanna's got a question. It says, why did you turn the 6 into a 2? So are you talking about this one right here? Actually, on either one, the 6 into a 2. So what we actually did right there, Deanna, is we subtracted 6 and 4, and that's where the 2 came from. Because when you add something, like here we added 4, well, we're also going to subtract 4. Because 4 minus 4 is 0, and that means like when you add 0 to something, it doesn't change. So this is exactly the same value as it was here. Do you see? So here, I know you got in a little late, and that's okay. I want to make sure you got this. So watch, check this out. And those of you who already understand this, just be patient. Check this out. So Deanna, the whole thing, right? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to just rewrite it, and you're going to leave space. Yeah? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this b term right here. This right here. You're going to take that. You're going to take half of it, and you're going to add it squared here. So half of 4 is 2. And then since I added it here, I have to subtract it. But I'm going to go ahead and square it now, because 2 squared is 4. And the reason we do that is because we're going to combine those two together, and 6 minus 4 is 2, and we're going to factor this, which is going to be x plus 2 squared. That number goes right there every single time. It's kind of like a shortcut. Yeah. Yeah. Good? Good, Deanna? All right, cool. I'm glad you asked. And I know that I mentioned this yesterday, but a lot of you guys that are in this video right now weren't here yesterday, so I just want to make sure that everybody understands. Sorry for being a broken record, but there's about a 20, I don't know, anywhere from 15 to 30 second delay between what I'm saying right now and when you hear it. And so when I'm doing stuff, I'm like just doing it, and then you guys are seeing it a little bit later. So if you have a question, and you ask it, it's going to be at least 30 seconds before I see it. So I have to go back, and that's perfectly okay. That's just how this is going to have to work. So this is as close to live and face-to-face as we can get. So never feel like you're asking a question that everybody else already understood, because everybody's like, you guys are, I'm going ahead of you. I'm way ahead of you in time. And so, yeah, just ask. All right, cool. Let's move on to number 4 and 5, shall we? Let me see. Here we go, 4 and 5. So here's number 4. Number 4 is the trickiest one we've had so far because, hold on, let me get rid of this. Number 4 is the trickiest one we've had so far because B right here isn't even. It's an odd number. And so when you take half of it, you're going to have a fraction. So that's why this one's going to be the trickiest. So Same thing though, we can handle this, watch. There's some shortcuts and tricks we can use. So we go ahead and we do that, right? Subtract 1, or sorry, just move the 1 over. So you just rewrite it, leave space, move this over, right? So that's exactly the same as the first. Like this value is the same as that value. And every single step we do, the values have to be the same. All right, so now what we have to do is we have to take half of b. b is 5, do you see? We have to take half of it. So we're going to divide it by 2 and we're going to square it. And we have to add that and we have to subtract that. Right? Now when we add it, we just write it like this, but when we subtract it, we go ahead and square it first. Well, 5 times 5 is 25 and 2 times 2 is 4. Do you see? So that's what this one right here we're going to add. So that's going to be plus 5 over 2 squared. And this one we're going to subtract 25 over 4. So, yeah. And every single time we're going to factor this one, this part, and every single time this number right here with its sign, see this was positive, so that's positive. Every single time that number goes here. Every single time, that's how it works. If you square it, yeah, and we talked about that yesterday. We don't have enough room to do it as scratch work, but if you square this whole thing, you do get x squared plus 5x plus 25 over 4. Every single time. Now here, 1 minus 25 over 4. Well, those are fractions. It's a whole number and a improper fraction, so we need to get a common denominator. And our denominator needs to be 4. Well, I think 4 over 4 is the same as 1, right? 4 over 4 is the same as 1, so that makes it easy. So this is minus 29 over 4. Yeah. You guys doing good? All right. Now, one other thing, you guys know I make a lot of mistakes. A lot of the time I make mistakes in class because I'm trying to do a lot of things and my full focus isn't on the work we're doing. And a lot of times I go too fast and I just don't pay attention well enough. And so I try to break those habits, especially when there's certain times where I really try to focus, but I still make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We're humans. So if I make a mistake on one of these, you gotta speak up. I'll try not to. On the quiz we did the last time with the sophomores, I did the whole thing really well, and at the end I was feeling confident, and I made one really dumb mistake. So it happens, and we'll go back and fix it, okay? And there's things to be learned from mistakes anyway. So let's get on back to number 5, and then we'll talk about this last one, which is the tricky one. All right, so for number 5, x squared minus x minus 6. Well, here, I'm going to do this one on scratch paper right here. So x squared minus x minus 6. Well, one of the things you got to recognize here is that b equals negative 1. That's one of the things that you have to recognize. For this, b equals negative 1. So this is our equation, f of x equals, that's our function, and we want to change it to vertex form. So we're going to, first step, just like always, x squared minus x, and then you just leave a space because here you're going to add a new c value, like in ax squared plus bx plus c. We're going to add a new c value because when a is 1, the thing we know is that if you take half of b and you square it, it equals c if it's a perfect square. And that's what we want. So we want to take half of negative 1 and square it. Well, there you go. There's half of negative 1 squared. And over here, we subtract it. Now, the thing is, 1/2 squared is this. And that's a positive 1/4 because a negative times a negative is positive. 2 times 2 is 4. But we're subtracting it, right? So we're going to end up subtracting it. All right, now, last step, just factor. You see, that number goes right there every single time. It always goes right there. And we can just say, we can write that as a mixed number. Negative 6 1/4. And then we're done. Good to go. All right, so now the tricky one, the ugly one. Oh man, this ugly one right here. It says, if, here, I'll write it on the paper right here. So it's a little larger so you guys that don't have a copy of this with you, you can see. So it says, if this is true, figure out what does m equal and what does n equal. And this is tricky. I'm curious how many of you guys think you got it. Oh man, I'm curious to see. I wish this is one of those times where I really wish we were in class together because I would like to know how you guys did on this before we review it. And I'd like to ask you questions like how you got it, what you were thinking, what you saw, because those are the things that when students say, hey, this is what I recognized and this is what I saw, that's when, a lot of people really, really, really learned. So Martin has a question. He wants to know, why are we subtracting it? And I think what Martin's talking about is, why are we subtracting this right here, right? Is that right, Martin? You're wanting to know, why are we subtracting this? So the reason we're subtracting this is because, well, we need to have exactly the same value as what we started with. So our final answer needs to be equal to this. Those two things have to be the same. And so what I did is I added a number. So I also have to subtract that same exact number, because this minus this equals 0. So you can add 0 anytime you want. So for another example, like let's say we had 5 equals 7 minus 2. That's true, right? 5 equals 7 minus 2? 5 equals, I'm pretty sure that's good, right? Now, what if I rewrote that and I put a minus 2 over here? It's still true, right? Well, what if I added 412? Now it's not true anymore, but if I subtract 412, it is. So that's why we're adding on one's part and we're subtracting on the other, because then it's still good to go. Make sense? Does that make sense to you now? It's kind of a tricky thing. I'm really, really glad you asked. It's one of those things, like in my experience, sometimes you don't get it, and then you get it, and then you forget it, and you don't get it anymore, and then you get it, and it's kind of like that. So, yeah, always ask. I'm glad you asked. Thank you very much. Here, you can have some virtual toilet paper. If it was your birthday, I'd give you a virtual goldfish. All right, so let's see here. Mariana has a question. She says, oh yeah, what you do to one side, you got to do the other to keep it equal. That's very true. That's over an equal sign, so you do the exact same operation on an equal sign, right? So for example, 5 equals 7 minus 2. Let's talk about that again. That's true, right? 5 equals 7 minus 2. So if I'm going to rewrite this, leave a little space so I can write it afterwards. That's still true. If I add 412 and I add 412, it's still equal, because this is going to be 417. And when I subtract that, that's 5. 5 plus 412 is 417. So these are still equal. And these are equal too, because I did something and I did the opposite to the same side. Kind of crazy, huh? It's kind of weird. So one of the things that is coming out of this is there are some properties and rules that you learn in math, but you don't always understand exactly what's going on or why it's true. And so now you're being asked to use that same kind of idea in a new way, and it seems like something new, but it's really the same thing. And that's good. That's one of the benefits of learning new stuff, right? Is sometimes when you learn something new, you understand something in the past more clearly. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get onto this last one right here. So this last one, it says this and this are the same. You see? And so that tells me that this part is a perfect square. So they took half of this and squared it and added it and factored it. And so here's what I know. Like watch. Here's what I'm talking about. This is not how I would solve this question, by the way, okay? But watch, check this out. If we were going to complete the square, you know how you'd have to take half of m squared, and you'd have to add it, and you'd have to subtract it. But over here, we always just go ahead and square it. So check this out. This is not how I would do this problem to answer it, but I'm just trying to run through a potential idea of how you could solve it. And then this right here, you know that it factors, right? And every single time, it's going to be like that. You follow me? Now, and this right here is going to be right there. So minus 5 minus m squared over 4. So here's what I know. I know this has to equal x plus 3 squared. And the reason I know that is because it tells me right here. And this part right here has to equal this part right here has to equal n. Do you see? So m over 2 is 3, so I think m is going to be 6. Because if m over 2 equals 3, yeah, 6, right? Do you see how I did that? That makes sense to you guys? That's kind of a tricky thing. So I know this has to equal x minus 3 because I'm told at the very beginning that these two are equal. And what I did over here, everything's the same. All of this, all I did was complete the square. So I think m is 6. What do you guys think? And then n, if m is 6, right? If that's a 6, then I got to figure out what is n. Do you see? And so x squared plus, let me see if I can come up with another way that somebody else might try to answer this question. I'm trying to think back to all the different ways that students have done this problem in the past. Yeah. So another way you could do this is maybe you could subtract n from both sides. Or add n to both sides. You see what I did? I added n. And then go ahead and square this. X squared plus 6x plus 9. Do you see? So x squared and x squared are the same. That's no problem. This has to be equal to 6. So I see another way that I know that's 6. And then 5 minus n, negative 5 plus n, negative 5 plus n has to equal 9. I think that means that n is going to be 14. Do you see? So let's put these two numbers in here to check. Let's put these two numbers in there to check. So here's what we got. We'll do it right here. I think there's enough room. So x squared plus 6x minus 5. Let's see if that equals x plus 3 squared minus 14. Okay, let's find out. So let's square this. You get x squared plus 6x plus 9 minus 14. That's x squared plus 6x minus 5. And there, it is equal. Look, that's it. Those are the answers. So that's how I know I'm right. Man, that was a very, very tricky problem. And on the Cambridge exams, like the official ones, not the ones from class, they've had those kinds of questions on there just about every single year lately. Okay. I want to give you guys a second or two to get caught up and see how you guys are doing on that. And that way you can ask me questions if you have them. If the video ends before you get a chance to ask, you can leave it in the comment on YouTube, or you can send me a question in Google Classroom or an email, and I'd be very happy to hear from you. So I do have to jump off. I have to end this video because we started a little late, so I'm sorry for that. But we're a little behind schedule and got a lot to do today with some other stuff outside of teaching you guys. So got some meetings and stuff. So hey Hector, how's things? Deanna does have a question. How do you check if your answer is right? How do you check if your answer is right? For like this one, all I did, so for the one we just did, the way I checked to see if my answer was right is I took my answer for m and I put it there, and I put my answer for n and I put it there. And then I just squared this and combined like terms to see if it equaled. That's all. Yeah, that's it. Now, there are some other ways you could check, like, say, this one right here. Like this one right here. There are some other ways you can check. I'm glad that's a really good question. Actually, Hector's not late. Hector's early for the 10th grade session. So there is one way you can check that's really, really interesting, okay? Hold on. Let me get Desmos. So check this out. If you have Desmos on your phone, then there is a way you can check if this is correct. Because the vertex here, do you see the vertex of this equation? It says it's going to be 1/2 and then negative 6 1/4, which is 6.25. So 1/2 is, of course, 0.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this original equation, this one right here, I'm going to plug that into Desmos and see, on my busted phone, and see if my vertex is the same. Let's see. Look at that. It does work. Check this out here. So I plugged it in. Come on. There we go. You see? 1/2. Here, let's zoom in a little more. So here's what I did. I took this equation, I plugged it in Desmos, and I checked if the vertex matched what I found here. And the thing is, remember, the x-coordinate of the vertex is the opposite of this, so it's going to be a positive 1/2, which is 0.5, and the y is negative 6 1/4, and 1/4 is 0.25. So that's how I can know. That's how I can know what's good. All right. And Johnny, yes, you can watch this later. Yes, you absolutely can watch this later, and I will post the link in all of the Google Classrooms so that you guys can go over this at your own leisure. And those of you sophomores that are just popping in right now, YouTube was actually down this morning for live streaming, so I didn't start the 9th grade session until like 10:35 or so. So we're just finishing up now, and I'll have to like hop off and get everything organized so I can help you guys with your quiz from yesterday. Who is Lemonhead? Lemonhead LOL. What quiz are we doing? We just did the homework for changing from from standard to Vertex Form. That's the one we just did. So anyway, let me hop off. Let me add the link to this, and let me add the link to this to Google Classroom for you guys, and then we're going to be go. So before you leave, I saw what you put in Google Classroom. So do we get a credit if we cannot? Yeah, so Deanna, to get credit, so check this out before I hop on. Oh, hey, Haley, how are you? Good to see you, Haley. Well, I'm not seeing you, but you know, you got the idea. So, Deanna, to answer your question about credit, if you can't be for the live stream, if you can't be here for the live stream, that's cool, no problem. Just watch it. I'll post it. You watch it, you grade it. I'll tell you also, when I post it, I'll tell you at what time you can skip to, so, because, you know, we don't start the lesson right away. I want to give everybody a chance to get here and, you know, kind of see how you guys are doing. So anyway, we're going to be doing the 10th grade session probably in about 15 minutes, Mariana. So Deanna, to answer your question, to get credit, if you're here for the live stream, you say, hey, I'm here in the chat, just like you did today. If you're not here, you have to watch it, you have to grade your own stuff, and then you have to either send me a message on Google Classroom or an email and tell me how you did and what questions you have, okay? Make sense? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off, get everything set up for the 10th grade stuff. We're talking about functions. Those of you who are freshmen, you guys also learned about functions already. So that might be something that you would benefit from checking out. So anyway, thank you guys for all being here. I know that, I know even in school it's easy to come up with reasons not to do what you're supposed to be doing, not do your work, not learn. So I'm glad you guys are here. It speaks highly of you and the kind of person you are. And so, I don't know. I'm happy to help you guys out. That's why I'm here. And, yeah. So I'm going to pop off now. I'll post that stuff, and then we'll be back on with the 10th graders in maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Maybe not even that long. I'll go ahead. I'll let you guys know when it's up and running. I'll post the link in the classrooms so you can find it easily, all right? Talk to you in a few minutes. And... not to flaunt,